My name is Jeff Ryland, the host of the Parenting Tips podcast for parents of young and school-aged children. In the previous 2 episodes, we talked about crummy things that kids experience, what this means for children in terms of their mental and physical health across their lifespan, and what parents can do to strengthen children by helping them become more able to deal with the kinds of stresses that come their way. We transitioned to discussion about protective factors, things that can buffer children from adversity. One of the protective factors discussed was parental resilience, your ability to bounce back from adversity. A parent's ability to bounce back is really important in order for children to be more successful in bouncing back themselves. In this episode, we will discuss what resilience looks like for children and what you can do to strengthen their resilience starting today. So, what is resilience? In a nutshell, resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity. It is not the thing that happens to us that defines us. It is our ability to recover, to overcome, or bounce back that is this incredible quality we call resilience. In past decades, resilience was thought of more as a personality trait. Either you had it or you didn't. We now better understand resilience is different from that. Dr. Ann Maston, who spent her career as a professor at the Institute of Child Development at the University of Minnesota, is known for her research on the development of resilience and for advancing theory on positive outcomes of children and families facing adversity. In the words of Dr. Ann Maston, resilience does not come from rare and special qualities, but from everyday magic of ordinary normative human resources in the minds, brains, and bodies of children, in their families and relationships, and in their communities. Resilience can be nurtured and grown in children. Here are some of the main ingredients for helping to create resilience in children. The first ingredient is the importance of supportive relationships. Strong, caring relationships with adults are crucial for building resilience in children. One thing parents and other caregivers can do is engage their children to help build nurturing relationships. These are the kinds of relationships that involve play, having fun, interacting with positive physical touch and positive affection and specific praise. Kids thrive around adults who treat them as if they have worth. Finding the good and growing it in each child is a worthwhile goal. For kids who have experienced adversity, they may miss some of the positive attention and interaction from adults. Another way to build resilience is to increase the amount of face-to-face interaction with your child or children. It is one thing to just watch them to make sure they don't destroy something or get hurt. It is quite another to put your phone down or computer away and really enter their world in play or other activity. Being fully present with your child means not having other distractions that keep you from noticing your child and from enjoying the moment. You can be certain that your child is watching you watch them. They notice when they are swinging on swings at the park if you are watching them or checking some social media post on your phone. What messages does each of these send to your child? Only one of them says, "You are really important to me." The second important ingredient is the role of emotional regulation. It's important for children to learn to manage their emotions. Emotional regulation is a key component of resilience, as it allows children to handle stress and adapt to change. This learning does not and cannot only take place in a classroom setting. It is nurtured and modeled by parents day in and day out over years of joyful and sometimes frustrating moments. A third ingredient is a child's adaptability and recovery. The concept of resilience involves the ability to adapt to negative changes and recover from adversity. This theme is reflected in strategies that encourage flexible thinking, problem solving, healthy coping, and maintaining a hopeful outlook. The final ingredient is the focus on development and well-being. It's important to nurture a child's overall development, including their physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Meeting basic needs is crucial. The California Surgeon General recommends the following 7 stress-busting strategies for kids to help counter negative effects of toxic stress on their bodies. Quality sleep. Children and teens need more sleep than you think. For example, toddlers need between 12 and 14 hours, and teens need 9 to 10 hours each night. Too little sleep can lead to problems with concentration, fatigue, and mood swings, irritability, difficulty with peer relationships, and academic problems. Balanced nutrition. Ensure that your child is getting proper nutrition to combat stress with meals that include fruits, vegetables, and foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, fish, nuts, fiber, etc. This can become a real challenge if affordable quality foods are not available in your community or neighborhood. Food deserts are a real problem for some families. In addition, having a child who is a picky eater can pose some problems as well. Please consult your child's primary care provider about strategies for addressing this. The next recommendation is physical activity. Exercise can be very helpful in decreasing the effects of toxic stress. Experts say that children should have at least 60 minutes each day of activity, such as running, playing a sport, or playing outdoors. 60 minutes a day does not seem like much time for some families. It can drag on forever for others. Playing outside is also weather and season dependent in many parts of the country. Thankfully, there are activities that can be played indoors. Kids are remarkably resourceful when given the opportunity. Excessive screen time is the most common barrier to exercise and play. Please check out pediatric guidelines and strategies in episodes 12 through 16 on reducing screen time. Mindfulness practices. Practice the daily dozen at home. 12 minutes of meditation, yoga, prayer, or guided imagery on a daily basis. There are some great apps that include specialty programs for children and teens, or go on a mindful walk around your neighborhood where you can point things out, things that you can see, hear, and feel all around you. You don't need to use a phone to engage children in this. If you are practicing mindfulness, which means being actively present in the moment, involve your children. Modeling can be a great way for your child to learn about resilience. Experiencing nature. Spending time in nature and being active outside has been found to help combat toxic stress. This can include hiking, watching the sunrise, or going on a picnic. For some people, nature is right outside the door or window. For others, it may be many city blocks or a long bus ride away. Look for opportunities to enjoy even the smallest moments of the natural world. Bees pollinating flowers, birds perched on a windowsill, the smell of spring crabtree blossoms, or the crunch of crisp leaves on the sidewalk in the autumn. These and many more are moments that can be part of experiencing nature. Mental health care. Taking care of our mental health can include seeing a provider, seeking social support, or minimizing stressors or triggers, like media content that might be upsetting. Mental health care does not just mean seeing a therapist or being on medication. It also means being able to assess stress levels and take steps to reduce them. It means striving to find balance in life. Sometimes it means cutting back on things that are too time-consuming and that add stress to life by causing problems with not getting other things done. Recreational screens, video games, and social media are common culprits for both adults and children. The research supporting a link between teen depression and anxiety and overexposure to social media is well established. Less is better. In addition, Children's Hospital of Orange County offers several specific tips that can be helpful for parents in building resilience in their children. Building coping skills involves teaching children more effective ways to cope. It is important to help children to name their feelings and to talk about them. Focus on feelings. You may say, "Ellie, you seem sad that we were not able to go to the park today because I was late from work and now it's raining. I understand. If I were you and I had waited all day to play at the park, I would be sad also. What else do you think we could do right now instead?" While it seems cliche, it is so important to encourage children to calm down by taking deep and slow breaths. Kids tend to do this once or twice, see no results, and stop. Breath work takes practice and modeling from parents. Please remember to pause between inhaling and exhaling. There are many good ways for children to learn to do this. Belly breathing, 4-square breathing, yoga breath, or 5-finger breathing are just a few. Discuss ways to solve a problem and let your child come up with ideas. This is an important tool since we want children to learn how to generate solutions on their own one day. For young children, it's okay to offer reasonable options. As children grow older and may become more creative and resourceful, they may be more active in generating solutions. Help identify healthy ways to deal with anger, drawing pictures, playing with clay, using their feeling words, taking a break, run around outside for a few minutes are just a few examples. From my experience, children sometimes need several strategies to use at once or one after another to really calm down. Supportive relationships. And finally, it's helpful to have a team of caring adults, friends, relatives, neighbors, coworkers who you can rely on if you're in a bind or need a break. You may be the primary parent, but the adults that you surround your child with should be able to stand in as trusted role models and mentors. They can serve to guide and engage your child. There are many other strategies and tools for helping children to become more socially and emotionally skilled. Check out the podcast tips including co-regulation, self-regulation, learning patience, flexible thinking, problem solving, giving effective praise, friendships, and more. I would like to say a few words about resilience scales. When we discussed measuring adversity in the episode on adverse childhood experiences, I spent a little time discouraging the use of an ACEs score for a number of reasons. The first is that it provides an incomplete picture. Identifying the number of types of adverse experiences a person has had in their early life can be helpful information, but it can also create harm because it can feel like gloom and doom without knowing the rest of the story. Each person is different. Each environment is different. Genetics and environment each play roles. In addition, the quality of parent relationships plays a role. The same holds true for resilience scales. There are a number of scales available online that can help you measure, I put that in quotes, how much resilience you may have. I think a far healthier way to view both ACEs scales and resilience scales is to see them as a starting point to an ongoing conversation. We now know that high ACE scores don't necessarily predict with certainty that a person will have health problems. We know this because there are many people who have had high scores who did not have health problems. What they also had were some or most of those protective factors we discussed in the last episode that helped to buffer them. Please, if you are tempted to use ACE and resilience scores, use them as a map for where you've been, where you are, and where you want to go in your life. They are not an X-ray or some other definitive test with bad results. They can help you create awareness and motivation. As I've shared in past episodes, one of the highlights of my career is listening to a parent say that the chain of adversity stops with them, that they want a different and a better life for their own family and their children. That is what resilience looks like. To recap, resilience, once thought to be rare, is actually quite common. It is the ability to bounce back from adversity, not to let bad things define us or define our children. There are many ways that parents can foster resilience in children by first learning to be more resilient so they can model this themselves, and by helping children learn and practice core self-regulation skills that were discussed briefly in this episode and are covered in a number of episodes throughout this podcast series. Resilient children have empathy. They can engage in flexible thinking and problem solving. They can take other points of view. When children have higher self-esteem, they feel good about themselves. They can communicate about their feelings. They are on a path to becoming more resilient. There are a host of uplifting resources on resilience. The first couple are a real treat for children. They are the Resilient Wisconsin coloring pages from the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. In addition, there are 3 2 to 3 minute videos from the Center on the Developing Child at Harvard University. In brief, the science of resilience. In brief, what is resilience? And in brief, how resilience is built. Each of these is worth watching and sharing. The links are in the show notes. There's also an excellent resource for parents and teachers created by the American Psychological Association. This guide outlines 10 ways you can create resilient children and breaks down how you might approach a preschooler, school-age child, or middle school or high school-age child. This guideline is a 10-minute read and well worth it. The link is also found in the show notes. Many of the episodes from this podcast series provide tips for parents in building resilience. Please check out past and future episodes that provide parents with resources on how to have a healthy relationship with your child, how to help your child regulate, and how to build social and emotional skills. Most of the really good parenting is building healthy relationships and having fun with your child or children. Done well, only a small part of parenting involves discipline. Enjoy being resilient with your child. Thank you for tuning in and considering this parenting topic. I hope this information has added to your growing toolbox for parenting your child or children. Please consider exploring other topics in this series. Remember, no one parenting tool can do everything. We need many tools to become the best parents for our children. Your children's future depends on you and the time and effort you invest in them today.